Test lights are amazing tools that help you diagnose electrical problems in seconds by helping you to visualize the flow of current. A test light is a probe with a light up handle on one end and a ground clamp on the other end. They aren't terribly expensive either. Most test lights can be had for under $20. I've got a few links in the video description if you want more information. The first step in checking fuses with a test light is to find a ground. Now, obviously, the negative side of a battery can serve as a ground. We all know that. But a ground can be a lot of things. It can be any bolt that goes into the body or the frame of a vehicle. Suspension or strut bolts tend to work really well. Now, some batteries are remotely located and they're not under the engine bay. They're actually somewhere else in the vehicle, like in the trunk or under a back seat, like in this GMC Acadia. In vehicles like that, there's usually a ground point under the hood, and it's usually labeled ground. The bolts that hold the door on or the door striker that's in the jamb can also work really well as grounds. Again, any kind of heavy duty bolt that isn't painted or covered in a coating is usually going to work as a ground because it's grounded to the vehicle. Now make sure the circuit for the component you're testing the fuse for is energized. For example, if you have a headlight that isn't working and you're trying to check the fuse for a headlight, make sure that the headlight is in the on position. Or if you're checking a window motor because your window won't go up and down, well, make sure that the key is in the on position because that's what's needed for that window to normally work. Find the fuse box, pop off the cover, and begin checking fuses by taking the probe end of the test light and touching each end of the fuse. Now, if the fuse is good, you should have light on one end, and when you switch to the other end of the fuse, you should also have light. That signals continuity between the fuse. If the fuse is blown or bad, you're gonna have light on one end, and when you go around to the other end, it's not gonna light up. The test light helps you determine if the fuse is good without ever having to actually pull the fuse out of the fuse block and look at it, which saves a huge amount of time. And traditionally, you'd be flipping through the owner's manual trying to find out which fuse you need for what component you're testing. A test light is so fast that you can quickly check all the fuses in a fuse box without ever having to even consult the manual. If all of your fuses are good, you can actually use that same test light to determine if that component is actually receiving power. I have another video for that process and you can click into it here. I also have a video about how I was able to diagnose and fix a broken washer pump in my own car. It goes over the whole process start to finish, and again, you can click into that video right now.